What if you could create long educational sleep videos
that run for hours
generate millions of views?
and cost almost nothing to make?
That's exactly what we're building today.
We will show you how to create these kinds of videos using your local n8n setup
Without spending much money on tools or subscriptions.
If you're new here, my name is Prashant. I spent over 15 years working in film and animation industry for studios like DreamWorks and MPC.
And now we've started NoCodeDad, a community where my dad teaches me how to use AI and automation to make real income and build some cool projects.
You can even head to our school community right now and download the setup right away.
The link's in the description below.
Alright guys, let's get started. This is the setup I'm talking about. This setup is called Educational Sleep Niche Setup, and this setup works for your local n8n installation. To make sure the setup is installed correctly, we have to follow this checklist. Step 1 is to make sure you have a local n8n installation for Windows or Mac. I'm using a directory structure which you have to follow to make sure this setup works. So go through this video for n8n Windows local installation, or this video if you want to install local n8n on Mac. Once you have your n8n installed on your Windows or Mac, you can go to step 2, which is installing Cloudflare tunnel inside Docker. There's a video for doing this also available on our channel. This video, you have to follow the steps so that we are on the same page. Once this is done, step 3 is to create Google Sheet authentication for your local n8n setup. For doing that, we also have a video available on our channel. Once you are done with all these 3 steps, step 4 is to update your Docker compose.yml file, which is needed for this setup to work. To update your Docker compose.yml file, first we have to understand what is written in this file. In services section, we are defining our local n8n installation. In environment variables, we make sure we have all the environment variables we need for this installation. In Cloudflare settings, we make sure our domain name is specified correctly. In volumes, we make sure our n8n has this volume structure. Additionally, we added Whisper API and Kokoro API for captions and audio creation. This section is your Cloudflare tunnel installation. So to update your Docker compose.yml file, you have to copy from services to all the way till n8n. Just copy this and paste it inside your Docker compose.yml file, which is available inside n8n Docker local directory. Just go inside this directory and open Docker compose.yml file. Delete the old code and paste the new code here. Alright, this file is indentation dependent, so make sure you won't change any spaces here. I'm using Sublime Text Editor for doing this. Then save your Docker compose.yml file. Once you have your Docker compose.yml file ready, then we have to run these commands. Alright, so to run these commands, open your terminal. CD and then your directory path. Once you are in this directory, you can do ls to make sure everything is there. So the next step is to run these 2 commands. Export tunnel token, which is also your Cloudflare token, and then your Docker compose up command. To get your tunnel token, you have to go to your Cloudflare account under tunnel configuration page. From here, paste the token here. I already have the token pasted here, so I'm just copying and running these 2 commands. Go back to the terminal and paste these commands here. First line is your token and second line is your Docker compose command. Press enter.
So basically, we're improving our n8n setup?
Yes. So we are installing additional stuff, audio making and captions editing on a local machine.
Yes, I got it correct.
This will make sure you have all these components set up inside your Docker desktop.
Now that we're done with all these steps, we can finally get to the setup part. Let's go to step 1,
which is creating titles. So in this step, we are making titles for all our chapters. Okay. So the first node is a schedule trigger. So double click inside and you will notice this is a trigger to make sure how often we want to run this setup once we published it. Alright, so let's run schedule trigger. So the next node is read Google Sheet. Double click inside and make sure your local Google Sheet authentication is set up properly. If you have not done that, watch this video on our channel. Make sure you are reading this Google Sheet. So let's go to Google Sheet and understand what we are doing in this Google Sheet. This is the Google Sheet I'm talking about. To make the new video, let's create a new row. Give your video a name. I'm calling it video 9. Make the status to create and then choose a reference video title. I'm using this channel, the most popular video on this channel, which is this one. So I just copied the title from here and pasted it here. For number of chapters, I'm just keeping it to 3 for now. If we have 1000 words per chapter, that video will be around 6 to 7 minutes long. For this video, I'm just choosing 250 words per chapter. And for images, I'm choosing 6 images per chapter. For FX overlay, we have to understand how this thing is working. So I went to this site called pexels.com, which is free, and we are downloading the overlay, which she liked a lot.
This one.
So let's download this overlay and saved it in this particular folder, which is called assets, and it's inside our n8n Docker local directory. Let's name it something simple like FX glitter. Save it here. I also copied the name, and now I'm just pasting this name here. And this is saved inside my n8n Docker local assets folder. The next information we need is video quality. We have an option of 720 and full HD here. We are choosing 720 for this video. Once you are done with this, let's go back to n8n. So now we added our Google authentication. We choose our Google Sheet. We make sure we are reading only the row which has a status create. And if there are multiple rows with status create, we are only reading the first matching one. So let's execute this node. Now you will see all the information we added in our Google Sheet row is here. Now let's go to the next node, which is AI agent. Here we have to define our chat model. I also added a think tool, and I also added structured output parser, which makes sure that the output which we get from this node is in a particular format. Double click inside and understand what we are doing here. So first we are defining the prompt for our AI agent, which is this one. We are just saying make the script for YouTube video using this reference title, and in the system message we are defining what exactly we want from this AI agent. We are saying we just want the chapter titles. We are also telling our agent to keep the structure of the output in this particular format. So let's execute this node. Since we defined only 3 chapters for this video, we got all the 3 chapter titles here. Now let's go to the next node, which is called split out. Double click inside and see what we are doing here. Basically, this node is dividing this single table row into multiple rows based on the field name output. Let's execute this step. Now you will notice that we have 3 rows here. Let's go to the next step. Now we are going to add all this data back into our Google Sheet using this node, which is again a Google Sheet node. Here we are appending the data we got for our chapter back into our Google Sheet. We are adding the chapter ID, chapter status, chapter title, and chapter outline. These all information is going to be added to our chapter sheet here. So let's run this node. So these are the details added to our chapter sheet. When you go inside your Google Sheet, so now you can see this information is available in our chapter sheet. So now we are done with step 1.
Now let's go to step 2.
In step 2, we are going to add scripts and audios for each chapter. So the first node is again a schedule trigger. So just execute this node. So the next node is again a Google Sheet node. So basically we are reading our sheet 1 again. Just execute this node. So this will bring back all the data back into n8n. So the next node is again a Google Sheet node, and here we are reading the chapter sheet. Just execute this node. So the next node is an AI agent. In this AI agent, we are writing the script for the chapter. In the system message, we are defining how we want our script to be written. We are also giving our output structure here, okay? So that our output comes in a particular format. So let's execute this node. So you will notice that we have our chapter script available now. Let's go to the next node. So now because we got our chapter script, we are updating this information back to our Google Sheet, all right?
Yes.
For the chapter using this node. Double click inside and see what we are doing here. So we are going to add this information in our chapter sheet. Let's execute this node. Will notice that this information is available in our Google Sheet. You can just double click and see the entire script in the Google Sheet, okay? Let's go back to the n8n. Once we have the script for the chapter, now to make the audio, we are going to use this node. Double click inside and see what we are doing here. So we are basically using a HTTP request node, but this time we are using an API which we installed in our Docker desktop. So we are calling the Kokoro TTS. If you remember, you can go to your Docker desktop app. You will notice that we installed Kokoro in our n8n Docker local setup. We are using a post method and passing this URL to Kokoro. And we are writing this JSON prompt, which basically is calling Kokoro using this prompt with our chapter script. All right, so let's execute this node. This is going to run on your local machine, so it will take some time. So now our audio is done. Yay!
Yes.
You can click on view
Imagine a world so tiny.
You can listen to this audio here itself. Now we got the audio for our chapter. Now we
Yep.
have to save it in our disk, okay? So double click inside this node and see what we are doing here. So basically we are writing this information, the audio information back to our disk, and this is the path where we are writing it. So if you remember, we define a temp section in our directory structure, and this file will go to that temp section. So let's execute this node. You can go and check inside your temp directory C, and you will see this file here, and it has a name chapter1.wave. So the next node is to update this information back to our Google Sheet. So double click inside this node. Here we are again writing to our chapter sheet, but this time we are passing our chapter audio path inside our Google Sheet. Okay, let's execute this node. So now in your Google Sheet, you have the information about where the audio is saved in your local file structure. So now we are basically done with step 2.
Now let's go to step 3, generate images.
So basically we are going to generate the images for our chapter which we created. So using the script which we created in this step 2. So the first node here again is a schedule trigger. Just execute this node. The next one is a Google Sheet node. Just execute this. So the next one is reading the chapter sheet. Just execute this step. So the next node is a small script. What we are doing here is we are just running this FFmpeg command, which is ffprobe. It will give us the duration of our audio file in seconds unit. So let's run this command. So now we know that our audio is going to run for this much seconds. We need this information to do further calculation. So the next one is again a small code. So the difference between this node and the last node is that the last one is running a command, and here in this node we are running JavaScript. So in this node we are calculating some more stuff about our audio length. So let's execute this node. This node will give you the chapter length, also the clip length. You remember we have 6 images in the chapter.
Yep.
So basically it is dividing audio length by number of images, which will give us 26 seconds clip length for this particular one. So the next node is again a Google Sheet node. Double click inside. So basically we are updating our chapter with the information which we generated in the last node, which is audio length and the clip length. Let's execute this step. So now these information is added back to our Google Sheet. So the next node is again an AI agent. So this AI agent will create image prompts to make images. Double click inside this node and see what we are doing here. We are asking AI agent to make image prompts for us based on our chapter transcript, and in the system message we are basically saying I have this many images and the clip length is this much. Please make an image prompt for each clip. So let's execute this node. So this will create all the 6 image prompts. Okay, since we got 6 images in this chapter, so now we got our image prompts. We are again going to use split out node to save them on separate rows. Based on the output, we are dividing this row into 6 separate rows. The next node is again a Google Sheet node. We are adding this information into our third sheet, which is called the clips sheet. When you go inside your Google Sheet, you will see the clip sheet over here. So we are basically adding the information about video 9 chapter 1 clip here. So let's execute this node. So we are adding these information here, the clip ID, status, and image prompt to generate the image. So let's execute this node. Once executed, you will see all the clips information for chapter 1 is added to our Google Sheet. So the next node is a limit node. Why we are using the limit node here is because we have this 6 items passed from the last node, but we want only one item to be executed. So we are using a limit node using just one max item. Let's execute this node. So the next node is again a Google Sheet node. So we are basically reading the clips sheet back into n8n. So let's execute this node. So it will basically read all the image prompts from the clips. With this information, we are going to create the actual images in the next node. Double click inside this and see what we are doing here. For image creation, we are using a HTTPS request node, and using post method, we are passing this information to Key AI. We have to also pass this JSON prompt to Key AI to make images. Key AI is an API aggregator where you pay a small credit to use the latest available APIs to create images.
we are going to use Nano Banana for creating these images. One more important information in this node is we are patching and posting to create some time gap between each image submission. So basically this node will post all the image prompts to Key AI. Once all the images are submitted to Key AI, you will see them appearing here. So the next couple of nodes is a loop. Whenever there is a loop in the setup, you can't execute them individually. Otherwise, the loop won't work properly.
So I will explain you all the nodes, but we have to run all these nodes together.
So the first node is loop over items node, where we are using a batch size of 1. Then we added a wait node here. We are just waiting for 1 second and then going to the next step. Then we are using this get method to get the images back from Key AI. We are basically giving our task ID to Key AI and asking Key AI to give our images back once they are done. The next one is a switch node, which checks if the images are work in progress or they are done. Then in this node, we are asking for just the image URL from the returned output. And then in the last node, we are updating this image URL information to our clips.
Here, I just added a limit node so that we can easily execute all these nodes together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click execute here and it will run in a loop for all the 6 images, and all this information is added to our clips sheet. So now we have all the images available. You can click on the URL and see the images here. So now we are done with step 3. Let's go to step 4, which is generating clip. What we are doing here is based on the images which we generated from the last step, we are making those images into small video clips. Again, we are starting with the schedule trigger and then we are reading all our 3 sheets, our main sheet, our chapter sheet and our clips sheet. So I'm running all these 3 together by executing the clips node. So all our information is back into n8n. Now we are again having a loop here. This loop is making our clips using FFmpeg on a local machine. I'm going to explain you each node now, but we will execute all of them together from here. So the first node is a loop over item node where we are having a batch size of 1. The next one is get image node. This is a HTTP request node and we are using a get method with the image URL. What this node will do is it will bring the image into your local temp directory. Once we have the image on our local machine, we will save the image into our Docker n8n temp directory. Next, we are going to convert this image into video using this command node. This is called the execute command node. Here, using this FFmpeg command, we are converting that static image into a clip length of the size we defined in our Google Sheet.
And in the next node, we are going to update this clip information back into our Google Sheet. Basically the path of our local clip URL. And this one is just the limit node so that we can run everything together. So let's execute this loop now. If you go to your temp directory, you can see that all the clips are getting created here in your local temp directory. See, you can see they are creating live in your local temp directory. This temp directory is inside your n8n Docker local directory. So now we are done with step 4.
The next step is step 5.
Here we are going to combine those clips and adding audio and captions to it. Step 5 again start with the schedule trigger. So just execute this node. Then we are reading all the 3 sheets back into n8n. So we have all the information available for step 5. Next is a prepare video list node. This is again an execute command node where we are creating a small list of all the clips which we want to combine. Let's execute this node. You will see that we have a big string which we are going to use in the next step to combine those 6 clips. The next node is execute command node and it's called smart optimizer. I'm going to explain you what we are doing here. So you remember we downloaded that FX overlay. Here what we are doing is we are optimizing it based on our video resolution, because when we downloaded this it might be in a different size, maybe a HD. So if we are only using 720 in our shot, so we are basically creating an optimized version of that FX overlay. Just execute this node. It says you already have the 720p video available. Since I already run this setup before also, if it's not available, it will convert it into a 720p resolution video. So let's go to the next node, which is actually combining the clips. It's again an execute command node, and here we are combining all the clips into a one chapter video. Just execute this node. It will take some time, maybe a minute or two. You now get your chapter video. If you go to your n8n docker local directory, inside your temp directory, you will see the chapter 1 combined video here. Let's go to the next node. The next node is a read audio node. Basically, we are reading the audio which we created in step 2 back into our n8n setup. Just execute this step. So the audio is now in our cache. You can click on view
World so tiny that the root
and you can listen to the audio here also. Now we are using Whisper API on our local machine to make sure the captions we create are on the correct place. What's happening here is to make sure the caption match the audio, we are using Whisper API on our local machine. If you go to your Docker desktop, you will see that we have our Whisper API installed inside your n8n Docker local setup. We are using the post method in the HTTPS request node and calling Whisper API using this URL, and we are passing these query parameters. So let's execute this node. This will basically analyze our audio and add some syntax to make sure the caption is placed in a correct place. So this is the data we generated to make sure all the captions are synced with our audio. So the next step now is to create the subtitles. Using this code node and using this JavaScript we are creating, let's execute this node. Now we got this subtitles.ass file. Once we have the subtitles, we are going to create the captions using this execute command. Here we are adding captions in our chapter video. So let's execute this step. So now you can see the chapter video with captions available inside n8n Docker local under output folder. Now, if you play this video,
imagine a world so tiny that the rules we live by every day no longer apply.
so now you have your chapter with the caption and audio.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Yeah. So the next node is again a Google Sheet node where we are updating the chapter sheet. And what we are saying here is that this chapter is done and this is the local video URL. Let's execute this node. You will notice that now chapter 1 is marked done. So we are now reading the clips sheet again and updating the clip information here. So we are basically reading the clips sheet in this step and updating the clip info in the next step. So what we are saying here is let's update the clips sheet with the status done. So let's execute this node. Once you execute this node inside your clips sheet, you will see all the clips for video 9 chapter 1 is all set to done. Awesome, right?
Wow.
So we got our chapter complete, this one, first chapter. We are done with step 5.
Yay!
Before going to step 6, we have to repeat step 2 to 5 for all the remaining chapters. This process is very easy because you don't have to run every node individually. There's an easy way. Just go to the schedule trigger of step 2 and then click execute workflow. This will execute the complete workflow of step 2 with one click. You can see the live updates going on in your Google Sheet here. Watch it closely. See, the chapter script for chapter 2 is now done. So right now the audio for chapter 2 is getting generated, alright? Which will take only a minute or two, right? Once the step 2 is finished, alright, now I'm executing step 3. This will make all the image prompts and images for your chapter 2. Once the step 3 is done, let's do the step 4. Just run the step 4 now. Once the step 4 is done, just go and run the step 5 also. If you check the Google Sheet now, so now the chapter 1 and the chapter 2 are both marked as done. Now we have to repeat all these steps for chapter 3 also. So let's do all this step for chapter 3 also. If you see the chapter script output not coming or the audio coming out blank, you can rerun the complete step again. Sometime AI agent, after giving all the information correctly, won't work and won't give the output in the exact structure defined. So just rerun it. Let's rerun the step 3 for chapter 3, then step 4 for chapter 3, and then the step 5 for chapter 3. It's like magic now. Once the status of all the chapters are done, we can go to step 6, our final step. Step 6 is
Combine chapters.
the warning here says only run this once all the chapters are done. So again, the first note here is schedule trigger. Just run it. Second node is reading our main Google Sheet. Just execute this node. After that, we are reading the chapter information again. So it will bring all the chapter information which are done. The next node is a code node. So here basically we are creating the list of all the chapter videos paths in this format. In the next node, we are using FFmpeg command, combine all the chapters together on your local machine. So let's execute this node. This final node is again a Google Sheet node where we are updating the status of our sheet 1 video 9 to done. Also, we are passing the final video URL for our video. All right. So let's execute this node. Now you will see finally your video 9 status is changed to done.
Wow!
And here is the path of your final video URL, which is available inside your n8n Docker local directory, inside your output directory. This is your final video. Let's watch this together.
Yep.
Imagine a world unlike anything you encounter daily, a realm where the rules you know bend and sometimes break. This is the quantum world.
Wow. So this video is right now total 8 minutes because we just made 3 chapters, okay?
Yeah.
And we also kept the word count to 250 per chapter. If we use 1000 word count per chapter and make more than 10 chapters, our video will be longer than 1 hour.
Wow.
Once your final output is done, you can delete individual chapters if you want. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you want the entire setup, you can go to the link below.
Please like and subscribe and go to the link in the description if you want the setup. Bye!